and welcome to Recapping with Delora
and Ashley.
Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at ReCapping Podcast.
Also, rate, review, and subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast platform. We're on all the things.
We want to hear your thoughts on the movies and shows we review.
Leave us a comment on Apple Podcasts or our YouTube channel, and we will read them during the show.
Or reach out to us on social media. We love talking all things entertainment and pop culture with you.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.
Delora, how was your birthday, darling? It's our first time back since your festivities.
Yes. It was wonderful. Thank you so much for asking. I had a wonderful staycation. I highly recommend it. I did not log in to work for a whole week. And, when Monday came around, I didn't feel like my life was gonna, implode. So yay to vacations. They're needed.
Amen. How was your dinner?
Oh, yes. I got a chance to have two wonderful dinners. Shout out to my best friend, Aaliyah. She came down. We went to Pep and Delora's here in Cincinnati. Delicious. Everything we had was so good.
It's called Pep and Delora's?
Dolores, yeah.
Oh, Dolores. I was about to say, you got a restaurant down there you ain't told me about?
I would love it if I did. I would have definitely told you, but no, not quite. We went to Boca, and Boca was very fancy. It had a tasting menu, so everything was much smaller in portion, but very tasty. Amara was having a little bit of a moment. I was like, girl, we are at an expensive restaurant. I need for you to get yourself together, because she claimed to not want anything, and that's usually not like her. But we had a long day because we also went to the museum and we saw Picasso landscape exhibit. One of my favorite things to do for my birthday is go to a museum, because if you have a July birthday, it'd be hot.
I'm taking this indoors.
We're taking activities indoors, but it was lovely, and I definitely look forward to going again. Also, when my girlfriend was here, we went ahead and saw The Little Mermaid again in theaters.
Oh,
she didn't see it, and Amara was like, why are we going to see it again? I'm like, just because we can. And she loved it, obviously, but she was like, oh, this is her second movie experience in the theaters, and she's seeing the same movie. So she was like, oh, I thought we would see another one. I'm like, you can see the same movie twice.
Putting that black dollar to work, baby. Are you going to take her to go see Barbie, or do you think that's going to be too grown up?
I was looking for ratings for Barbie, and I've been having a hard time finding it. So I don't think she'll probably see Barbie.
Okay. I've heard now rave reviews about Ryan Gosling's performance, but I'm trying to stay away from, like, one of my friends sent me a video with a supposedly non-spoiler review. I'm like, I don't want to know anything. Same. I want to go into this movie cold, and I'm seeing it opening weekend. Now, I'm not. Are you doing the double feature with Oppenheimer? Because I'm not.
I am not doing the double feature, although, the Oppenheimer is definitely something that would be on my radar, but I'm not doing it. Yeah, they released a Ken song, and I'm like, I am absolutely not listening to this before the movie. I need to be in my seat.
Exactly. I want the full experience. Like, I've said this so many times. I feel like even movie trailers give too much away these days. Like, don't show me anything. Let me go in and be surprised. I feel like there's going to be so many elements of Barbie that are going to be like, you know what I'm saying? When you're actually watching it, I don't want to see it. I don't want to know. Let me have a full moment in this. Again, I'm still deciding. Are you going to do any Barbie merch? I'm still deciding if I'm going to wear any Barbie merch.
I'm still trying to figure out what I'm wearing to freaking Renaissance, let alone Barbie merch.
Indeed. When I tell y'all, I have Googled what should I wear to see Beyonce Renaissance, because
seriously,
people are coming in looks.
It's at this rate, it's gonna be a tee and some shorts.
Now, I refuse to wear heels. Y'all not gonna catch me wearing heels to a concert.
We're not doing that.
That's not happening. But I'm going to be in Miami, so it's going to be hot. The stadium in Miami is open roof. So there's a lot of logistics to figure out. You know what I'm saying?
Same. I'm going to be in Chicago. It's outside. Exactly. And so it's like I need to be able to move freely and feel comfortable in my skin.
By the way, while we're
Because I'm
talking
getting my
about
life.
Beyonce, I just want to say, Touchdown Tay, we have not forgotten about your post on Facebook asking us to break down our favorite Beyonce. I think it was albums.
We've done this though.
We've done it, but we can definitely do it again because we're going to do a breakdown once we've both gone to the concert. So we will
Exactly.
include that as a part of our breakdown and just talk about it again because
Oh,
we can
should
always
we
talk about
invite the
Beyonce.
people we're going with? Because I'm going with my one girlfriend.
I can invite my friend on the pod who I'm going with. I'll ask him if he'll be interested in coming
I'll ask
on.
my girlfriend and then we'll have a Renaissance episode.
Interesting. Love that idea. I definitely am excited to finally see this thing in the flesh because I've been trying to avoid all the spoilers on the internet, but it's harder and harder.
Girl, I don't know how you've done it. I have seen outfits, but I have not watched full like performances. You know what I mean? I have catch the Beyonce wiggle on occasion, but for the most part, everything's gonna be brand new.
Well, I know we've kind of circled around the block in terms of our conversation to start off the pod, but guys, welcome back. It's another episode of Recapping with Delora and Ashley. We appreciate y'all sticking
So
with us
much.
as always, and thank you for allowing us a little week break. We are back and ready to get into some headlines and hot topics. The first one I love because we've been talking about Jamie Foxx and his road to recovery after a medical incident that we're still not sure exactly what happened, and it's his privacy to not let us know in the public. But
Yep.
it seems like he is back in good spirits and possibly back physically, whatever may have gone down, in great form because he has been spotted out and about in Chicago. He's on a boat in this article I have up from TMZ. I heard he helped a woman. I think she like dropped her bag or purse or something, helped her, picked it up, gave it to her. He seems to be good. He waved at the camera. He acknowledged the fans. Super happy to see it. And as a part of the stories, I was seeing that he's working with Colin Firth on a Luther Vandross
Yes.
documentary.
Yes, I was surprised by that. I was like, okay, sir.
I know the second apparently Luther Vandross doc that's currently in the works. But what did you think when you saw the footage of Jamie?
I think his publicist should get a raise. It's brilliant. It is out of the ordinary statement. It's much different than even having a full article in People or whatever magazine, especially if he's not going to really tell us what's going on. But based off of just being so in the dark on this, health complication, to be able to see him moving, aware, waving, interacting with people is very promising because, again, the way the internet had it set up, I'm thinking Jamie's on his deathbed. And maybe he was,
Yeah,
but, you know, God is a healer. So I'm happy things are looking good for him.
absolutely. Love to see it. Our second headline, Britney Spears. We're going to first talk about this whole slap incident, and then we'll talk about her forthcoming memoir. So first, this slap incident that happened. It's been on the peripheral for me in terms of like coverage. Like I heard about it, but I didn't investigate it.
Yeah,
Girl,
same.
Britney was in Vegas.
Wait, and then there was a video. So you heard it about it.
And
And it's
then,
like,
but
oh, that's not real.
I didn't even watch the video till today, till before
Oh,
I knew we were going to talk about it. Because again, it's just kind of been one of those stories. I was like, everybody's fine. It's fine. Let's move on type of thing for me. And so what happened was Britney's in Vegas and she was trying to get the attention of Victor. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. Who watches ESPN? Let me know. Wimbyama, who was the number one overall pick in the 2023 NBA draft. He was drafted by the San Antonio Spurs. And she tried to tap him, basically. Like he was walking into a restaurant in Vegas. She tried to tap him. His security wasn't having it. They knocked her hand, and in knocking her hand, I guess it made her hit herself in the face. and her glasses like almost fell off. That's the footage in the video. But Britney has said, oh, I got knocked down. Friend had to help me up. She's still waiting on an apology that she feels like she's owed from both Victor as well as, I can't remember if it's the NBA or maybe just the Spurs, whatever. In the article I was reading on People, apparently his security apologized after the incident, but she was still expecting an apology from Victor. So what do you think?
Well, it's definitely something I didn't place on my 2023 bingo card. It's the most bizarre story. Let me tell you. It's unfortunate that it happened. I'm sure it was a shock and I'm sure it was unsettling for Britney, but I think some of these apologies are a bit of a stretch, especially from his organization that he's like hired from. From him, sure, absolutely. He should apologize on behalf of his security team. His security team should be a little bit more aware because the video was not really great. It didn't look great, but what they say, believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. So even with the video, I'm not exactly sure what happened. You know, it's also a complex conversation because we're talking about a Black man and a white woman in America, right? So we are very much Team Britney, but I hope she's not over exaggerating what's happening as well.
I'm going to be honest with y'all. My gut reaction is the only reason why this is a story is because you're Britney Spears. Like, you would not have expected for someone to not know who you are to the extent where you would not have been able to have the privilege of touching this famous person who obviously is going to have security around them to keep them from the masses. Like,
Very
even
true.
in his statement, he said that they told him to keep moving forward. Otherwise, he was going to create a crowd. Otherwise, there would be a security issue because a lot of people were calling out to him and all of this. So it's a privileged mindset a little bit in terms of you're a celebrity and you're well known, you're all this, to think that you could just approach him in that way. Now, in most circumstances, especially if he had seen you from the front, it would have been totally different. But if you are coming from behind him and his security isn't paying any attention to anything except somebody's reaching out to him, I totally get it. Especially her sentiment was, well, I've been around all these famous people my whole life. I was with NSYNC. People were throwing themselves at them. I've had people knock me down. My security never touched them, all this and that. That was a different era. Let's be honest. People now do, not that people haven't always done crazy things, but people are doing crazier and crazier things. So in my opinion,
stuff on stages and everything,
hitting people in the face. So in my opinion, I get why security is, if they are more high end, would be for celebrities, for people who are famous, for all of that. Now, I'm not saying that you should hit
in the age of post-COVID, like, don't touch me.
And I'm not saying you should hit her, which again, based on the video, it doesn't look like he did. It looks like she accidentally hit herself with the motion of him blocking her. I totally get that. I'm not condoning you like physically assaulting her or any of that. But the way it was depicted and the way I saw it in the video, it would have been like a privileged thought to be like, well, I'm Britney Spears, so let me go tap this man on the shoulder because they should know who I am, type of thing.
Right. Ego.
Yeah. And so that's the only reason why it's like a story and a headline and all of that. And granted, we grew up with Britney Spears. We are of the generation who still knows her as a huge pop star, but he's 19. You know what I'm saying? Like, that era of the height of your fame.
Born in 2000.
That's gone. That's done. It's done. It
Ooh,
is.
Chile.
It is. Let's be honest. It is. Now, everybody still knows who Britney Spears is, most especially because of this conservatorship and everything that's happening. You getting free, and we love that for you.
Yes.
But this was, to me, making a mountain out of a molehill.
I'm surprised that she's a fan.
Who knew Britney watched basketball? Because I wouldn't even know who this young man was.
Exactly. And I
didn't even watch
the
draft.
I didn't know who he was. Yeah.
I didn't watch the draft this year. So yeah, it's to me, this was a lot. But let's move on to her memoir. Okay. Because it's now been announced that her memoir, dubbed The Woman in Me, is set to be released on October 24th. We talked about this during the whole Free Britney movement, during the court case. We talked about what's going to come first, the interview or the book. And I said, oh, it's going to be the book, because I just feel like she's going to want to get her version of events out there, and then maybe she'll do interviews subsequently.
Get that dollar.
What do you think you're most looking forward to having revealed in this memoir?
Oh, that's a great question. Her relationship with Justin Timberlake.
Mm.
Let me not pretend. Okay. That is numero uno. Okay. And then after that, her motherhood, like what that journey is like for her. I know it's not quote unquote normal, right? With how things are set up, because the boys stay with their father most of the time. And so, and of course, what she did during her conservatorship.
I think what I'm most looking forward to is just honestly hearing her perspective of what it was like at the height of her fame. Because Britney Spears came up in a time where that beast of a machine of like pop stardom was insane. And like Britney Spears was the peak of that for our generation.
Yes,
so like
she was.
I just want to know what that actually felt like, what that was really like behind the scenes, because Britney always had this very bubbly, happy-go-lucky image, but obviously she was struggling with things behind the scenes. So like, when did that start? When, you know what I'm saying? Like, when
the background for the umbrella incident after she shaved off her
like
head,
all of it. Like, I want to know when she started having that trajectory of like, I'm not okay, things are going on that the public is not aware of. Like, when was that shift? Because I mean, Britney's been on television and in people's homes since the Mickey Mouse Club days. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, she's been around forever. So like, when for her personally did those shifts start happening? Like, that's what I really want to know, like almost like documentary style. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want the book to be my documentary of like, how did those early days happen and what were the catalysts for it? I know, especially in terms of the Justin Timberlake relationship, she said that she felt like that was just a product of that image she was in. It was like another just thing. So did she ever enjoy that relationship, or was it all, did she feel trapped in
or
it?
familiar because she had known him for so long, right?
Since they were kids.
Exactly.
And then do you think she's going to speak on her Christina Aguilera?
Sure. Why not?
Because again,
she got paid $15 million. She better come with all the tea.
All of it. All of it. Are you going to read it or listen to it on audiobook?
You know what, Ashley? This is actually not a prioritized book for me.
Okay. So you just probably
after
gonna
all of that,
see some of the excerpts and then decide.
Yes.
Okay.
It was not on par with like Spare, right? Like, had to get my hands on Spare. No questions asked. This, I'm gonna wait and see.
Okay, that's fair. No books have been that much on my heart, if I'm honest. It's just kind of what grabs me on a particular day. I got all these Audible credits I need to use, so maybe I'll use it because I just need to, Audible still charging me every month. But
if you want recommendations, you know where to go.
I absolutely do.
Met my 150 book goal for the year.
Girl,
using
good for you.
Goodreads.
I'm still reading Sunny's second book. Okay. I'm towards the end. It's on the nightstand. It's just, I get in these modes, these vibes. I don't know if everybody's like this, but sometimes I'm like real heavy into listening to music every day. Then some days I only want to listen to podcasts every day. Then I go into a reading binge. Just like, I usually don't multitask. I'm kind of in one mode or another. So I need to get back into my reading mode because I love a good book. But we'll see what happens come October. And when Lifetime does their depiction of it, we'll have another conversation. All right. Our next headline, our last really, babies. The Brat has given birth to her baby boy with her wife, Jessica. Gave birth on July 6th in Atlanta.
Whoop, whoop, July 6th.
So sweet. Yeah, your birthday twin.
Birthday twin. Welcome
Baby's
to the club.
name is True Legend Harris Depart. Did you see these stories about a former employee claiming they stole the baby's name from her kids?
No.
Girl, yes. Just adding some drama. A former employee who said they got beef said, "Oh, you stole both of my son's names and used it as your kid's name." Jessica said, "Here's a video from 2020 of the Brat saying what we were going to name our child. So, yeah, a little bit of controversy with that, but it seems like they're doing well and happy and excited and love to see it and glad that both baby and mommy came healthy. We also have Naomi Osaka giving birth to a baby girl with her boyfriend Corday. They have not released their baby's name, but obviously they had previously revealed they were expecting, and Naomi had posted some photos of her cute baby bump and all of that. And she had said at the time of her pregnancy, she was definitely excited to get back to tennis, but I'm sure she's just in mommy mode right now in the bubble, enjoying the first days of motherhood. Congratulations
Adorable.
to both moms and partners, and excited to see the style of both of these kids. Because
Exactly.
I feel like both of their sets of parents are gonna keep them looking good. All right, Delora, let's get into our hot topics. We gotta talk about some toxic shit first, and then we can get to Emmy nominations. So we took a week off, and during that week, the internet exploded. Because our good sis, one of our favorites, one of the internet's favorites, one of America's favorites, Keke Palmer, got pulled into some BS by her boyfriend and baby daddy, Darius Jackson. Okay, so Keke looking good, looking beautiful since
she's looking amazing.
Since
Shout
the birth of her
you.
son, body oddy, and she's been loving it and displaying it, and I'm here for it. And I'm like, damn, I guess that's a good reason for me to have a baby. I can finally get some boobs and some hips and a booty. But anyway,
she's looking amazing.
She was looking so good, and so she went to go see none other than Usher Raymond. Usher has been doing this residency in Vegas that has been sending people wild. Okay, he always manages to find some celeb ladies in the audience to serenade. Every time I hear people talk about it, they're like, it's an experience. Going to see Usher is an experience.
It's highly recommended. They're like, it's one of the best shows you can see, period.
And he is a ultimate entertainer, so we have no doubt about it.
Ashley, are we going?
I would love to go. These ticket prices though have been
expensive.
For his nosebleeds, it's over $300. We already going to see Beyonce this year. I feel like it was like I had to choose.
Same.
I feel like I had to choose. Hopefully he's not going to leave. Hopefully he stays for 2024. And then I can consider it. But you know who had the budget was Keke Palmer. And she went and saw Usher. And she was looking good in this bodysuit with the sheer dress top over it.
Yes. With the cheeks. I thought she looked cute. It was beautiful. Like, it's Vegas.
It's Vegas. For two, I find it so interesting always how people police your attire based on where you're going, because I bet you she's worn a thong on the beach. I bet you she has. But this outfit was too much.
And you wouldn't have known if she didn't turn around.
She looked amazing. And
she looked amazing.
Darius, instead of texting her, instead of
calling her,
instead of evaluating his feelings and deciding I probably shouldn't say shit anyway, he decided to use them fingers to tweet. It's the outfit though. You a mom. Insanity ensues. He doubles down, Delora. He puts out this whole spiel. Let me find it.
Talk about, I rest my case.
We live in a generation where a man of the family doesn't want the wife who's married and the mother to his kids to showcase booty cheeks to please others, and he gets told how much of a hater he is. This is my family and my representation. I have standards and morals to what I believe. I rest my case. Go ahead, Delora. Speak your piece, girl.
They are not married.
Nope.
1. 2, the unmitigated gall to think that you're going to embarrass the mother of your child that way. First of all, if he had sanity, Usher does this all the time. Keke was playing into the act. They are entertainers. She
Mm-hmm.
was performing as much as Usher was, which proves that Darius is insecure. You know what's ironic? They met at an insecure party, the show.
Because his brother was
Yes.
Dro, in case anybody listening was not aware. Sarunas is his brother, and Sarunas got dragged into it. Sarunas is
He
like,
sure did.
what I got, somebody tweeted, your brother is a whole whore, though. He was like, oh, I've been minding my business. What do I have to do with this? I've been minding my business.
But it is just a shame because I was rooting for that young man. Him showing up, meeting Vice President Kamala Harris with the baby in hand, but Keke doing her thing. She has had this baby and she has been working to maintain those checks. And you out here because you at home or whatever.
I don't think I've been this disappointed in someone's behavior that I don't know or care anything about in a while. And it's because you did this to Keke unproblematic Palmer.
Exactly.
Keke has spoken nothing but good things about you, sir. Keke has been in our homes for a very long time. And you thought you were going to publicly slander her on the internet?
I mean, we've talked about how we feel like there's a relationship with her. Like she feels like my baby cousin. Like what you're not going to do is
I read her whole interview on the cut that she just did. She looked fabulous.
That
Fabulous.
All of those pictures, the hair, the body, the outfits.
Fabulous.
Beautiful.
I read the whole interview. She is comes across as such a sincere, lovely human being. And so I hated this for her. I hated that this is the impression now that I have of your partner. He seems like trash based on this interaction. I hate that he made this public. It could have been private. Y'all could have worked this out. So now you have to decide how you're going to move forward. And if this is your partner, the person you love, the father of your child, I want you to be happy. I want you to be happy. And this didn't seem like it was a happy situation that was going to come of this. Now, you could block out the noise of the public and all that, but this is still the dude you got to go home to. I hope he has understood the error of his ways. It doesn't seem like, based on what I've seen, he has. He got
scrubbed her from her social media.
Scrubbed her. They stopped following each other on Instagram. He hopped off of Twitter and hopped back on. Doesn't seem like things are great at home.
She did a whole two-step timeout. If he gonna effed up, I'm gonna link up. I did think that was a little immature. And she's out here selling merch, blind to the BS. And I'm a mother.
If she didn't do it, somebody would. So
true, I know it was very on the nose for me, but I don't blame her if she's like, what I don't have time for is this.
It just made me sad. I hated to see it. He was wrong. I think everyone can agree that he was wrong. Whether or not he felt that way.
The internet went deep into his Twitter too, and all his,
as people always do. You can't.
Yeah. Unsolicited armchair analysis on things going on in the world that were absolutely wrong, on the wrong side of history.
Even the people who may have agreed with him, having standards that he wants, whatever, to do it publicly, I think was the biggest issue that a lot of people had. And I didn't agree with either. I don't agree with either. But I definitely think that he created this issue. He created this monster, and it's just super unfortunate. And I hope for the best for Keke and her son.
And let's also realize that he felt threatened by freaking Usher Raymond.
He did. Did you see the video of Charlamagne saying that Usher is the true villain?
Is the menace.
He said Usher been telling y'all since
what's killing me is he got Keke when she was skinny, and now she got all this body yaddy yaddy. And he thought it was cute at first, but now that she's getting attention, oh, now you want to clutch your pearls? Sir, sit down.
I mean, the thing is Keke is beautiful no matter what
Yes.
size, shape
Yes,
she's
yes,
ever
yes.
been, right? And so,
And I want to say it's not that she wasn't beautiful before, but I'm just saying he can't handle all this jelly. That is what
no,
I am
I get what you're
saying.
saying. It's definitely, you can tell that her being comfortable in her skin obviously is irking him, is making him feel
Yes.
insecure. Because I'm sure she
Yes.
is, as she said many times, I feel confident. This baby has given me a new sense of power. So he wanted to take her down a peg. He wanted to knock her down and publicly try to embarrass her. It
And that
was,
is toxic as fuck.
it's so disappointing, bro. So disappointing. And again, I know people have discussed this. I know we're late to the party, but we just had to give our 2 cents out there too. And Keke, just know we rooting for you. You, girl, you and your child.
Kiki, do you love me?
And if y'all have not seen the cut, cover, and photos and read the article, please do. Love some Keke Palmer. In more toxic shit, we have this whole situation with Jonah Hill and his ex-girlfriend, Sarah Brady. Came on the heels of the Keke Palmer incident, which some people were like, "Oh, a white woman loves to follow on the heels of a black woman's struggles." I'm not gonna go that deep. I will say it was interesting timing.
That's thinking too hard though. But yeah.
But girl, talking about making something public. So they broke up apparently last year, and Sarah has decided she was going to wait for Jonah Hill's girlfriend or fiance to have a baby, and then has released all these intimate texts between the two of them that she says basically shows that he was emotionally abusive and warning other women, hey, if you have a partner who behaves like this, make an exit plan. Have you read these texts? What do you think about her publicly revealing them? And what do you think that the repercussions are for Jonah Hill?
I have read the text messages. I think she has the right to release them whenever she wants because it happened to her. And any repercussions for Jonah Hill, I'm not exactly sure, considering he is a major player in Hollywood and he has friends in high places. So, what I will say is, speaking of toxic ass traits, you follow and find a woman in her element. She's a surfer, she wears bikinis, she interacts with anyone who surfs. And then you get in a relationship with her, and then you want to start stripping her of everything that she knows that empowers her, that she has, created her identity around. That is so freaking alarming. Talking about you can't take pictures in bikinis, you can't talk to dudes. What? So you're just going to take her away from everything she knows and loves to do what? Sit to be your girlfriend?
He felt like she needed to do all these things for him to consider her to be a wife and a mother for his children, for his life. These were his boundaries.
But then it's like, well, go find another girl then. If you're taking everything that I know and love away from me.
So I'm not conflicted at all about what was revealed in the text. I personally found it like really upsetting to think that you find yourself in a relationship with somebody, you're deeply invested, you're in love with them, and they're attempting to control you in these ways and stop you from being who you are and having relationships with other people and all these things. And that was very upsetting to me. But I'm conflicted still about just the release. Like there's something about some of the messages I saw that made me feel like there's a possible still like feeling of, were you scorned, and so you're doing this, you're releasing this still because you're still upset about the dissolution of the relationship. Like, I think because I don't know Sarah and I don't know her intentions, that's still up for debate. And I find intent to be such a big factor in like my thoughts about stuff. And so if it is about you being upset that he moved on with somebody else versus you really trying to supposedly help other women to not be caught up in relationships where they are with a controlling or a manipulative or abusive partner, I can't speak to that, but some of those texts did make me wonder. So that I'm still conflicted about, because it's like this is not my business. if I was in a relationship with somebody and they released my personal text messages, I would definitely feel some type of way. But if he, I also heard, I think it was Van who said that there's a fine line between some people being in relationships with someone who just is not good for them or not an ideal partner, and someone who has gone through something that is like a crime. And there's sometimes not a divide between that and like space for that and like public discourse and public opinion. And I was like, that's interesting, because again, for me, it goes back to Sarah's intent. If Sarah released these because she genuinely feels like I was emotionally abused and I want other women to see the warning signs, that's great. I see the necessity of it. But if it's not, if it's just, hey, I just wanted to release these to make you look bad in X, Y, and Z, it wasn't sexual assault. It wasn't rape. It wasn't the things that I feel like in those, Jonah Hill needs to go to prison. Jonah Hill needs to be arrested. That's a totally different conversation, if that makes sense. So I think it leaves a lot to be discussed, like in public and the public opinion, and curious to see where it moves forward. But because of this coming out, now there's a young lady who said that Jonah Hill inappropriately kissed her when she was 16 years old at a party. And so his rep has refuted that and said there's no merit to that or something along those lines. But sometimes when it rains, it pours. So in Jonah Hill's case, I don't know if this is the end of things that are going to publicly come out about him, because now shoes are falling, chips are falling. The situation with the 16-year-old, if that's true, then again, now we're talking about criminal behavior. So the waters are getting muddier, much muddier. But the text message thing, I'm still just like, if I can figure out, have a better sense of what your real intention was, then I could fall harder on feeling like they should be released. But the behavior in it was disturbing, upsetting.
Very
upsetting.
And, condescending, using therapy talk. It's like, ooh, that's the last thing you want. Somebody who, quote unquote, is in therapy, but uses it as a weapon.
And I hated that too, because I watched that documentary he did with his therapist.
Did.
And his therapist seemed like lovely in terms of really being good at what he did, trying to be helpful. He has Parkinson's, so that was a big reason doing this. So he has a legacy that people can see and all this. So it was disturbing to me too when I thought about it. I was like, damn, I just watched that documentary about his therapist, and he's using this language and weaponizing it and talking about his boundaries and this and that. And I've seen therapists post on Instagram like, these are not boundaries. Like, people need to have clarity around this terminology. And so he used a lot of that. And again, I think what bothered me is just like, as a anyone who you've gotten deeply involved into a relationship, at some point it's so hard for you to remove yourself when you have feelings for that person, when you're in love with that person. And so to imagine the mentality of being that, and then this is how that person is talking to you, like, if you don't change all these things, we can't be together. If you don't stop dealing with men, stop dealing with women who are whatever he considered them to be, unstable, whatever he said, like all these things that he's the only judge of.
Right. Because who made you God? It's a bit of a God complex, don't you think?
Yeah, it was a
lot
to digest.
To have a say? A list of people she doesn't want him to hang out with? I doubt it.
She made it seem like there's more too, so who knows? But that relationship, no. So that's all I really wanted to say on that. That was not as cut and dry to me as the Keke Palmer situation, but still disturbing. Let's move on to our last and final hot topic. Emmy noms. Emmy noms are out. Complete list. I'm looking at Entertainment Weekly. I will not go down this full list, but I just wanted to ask you, was there anything that surprised you, excited you, you're looking forward to seeing at the actual show?
All right. So I was super happy on the limited series front. So Beef was nominated, as well as Daisy Jones and the Six. Dominique Fishback was nominated for Swarm. Like, that was really, really cool. And I'm looking at Best Actress on that one. Super excited for Taraji P. Henson, Abbott Elementary nomination. Quinta for Saturday Night Live and Abbott Elementary. Speaking of Abbott Elementary, shout out to Janelle and Miss Shirley Ralph and Tyler James Williams. What I am saddened by is Queen Charlotte only got 3 nominations, and it's for costume, hair, and the wonderful Julie Andrews. But I really felt like India and Corey deserved some recognition for their work in that series because it was gorgeous.
Were you surprised Sam didn't get nominated for Daisy Jones?
A little, but it was all about Daisy at the same time. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, that's a great question. I was kind of shocked, but I was like, well, Daisy Jones was pretty much it for that series.
I'm super excited for and I'm gonna mispronounce this actress's name. She's in The Bear.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for her. I just finished the second season of The Bear and I love her character.
She
Um,
started that.
yeah, I really want her to win this. Like I know it's stiff competition, but I would love for her to get that win. Um, I was surprised about Sam because I felt like there would like Riley needed Sam for their
To play
scenes
off.
together to be what they
Yeah.
were. So it's tough to not give him a nom if you're going to give her a nom, but hey, it is what it is. I mean, Camilla got a nom as well.
Oh my. And it kind of reminds me of Only Murders in the Building, how I think it was last year, Martin and Steven got the nomination, but Selena did not. And that
Yep.
sucked.
Yep. I'm also surprised, again, having just seen The Bear, that I just knew that Jamie Lee Curtis was going to get a nom for, like, what's the terminology for it, or what's the award for a guest actress in a comedy series? Because the
Mm,
turn she did, was something to see. I'll put it like
interesting.
that. And it was outside of her usual characters. So I expected to see her name down there. But again, I mean, this is the last season of Ted Lasso. So, they're about to pick up a lot of awards. The last season of Succession. So I was expecting a lot of awards for those. So, I mean, otherwise it was pretty much what my expectations had been. But, you know, I'm just, no, I was going to say, I get overwhelmed with the Emmys because there's so many categories.
So many.
So I'm just curious to see like how it shakes out. This is my final thing to say.
So super excited for Stephen Yoon's nomination for Beef and Jenny Ortega's for Wednesday, because I was
Yeah.
really concerned about it because I
Allie
think it
got
was.
nominated for Beef as well.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who's going to come on top. I know Secession's probably going to get a lot of play
Yes.
considering it's in its final season. But White Lotus is pretty popular as well. And what's
Yes.
interesting, White Lotus is now under drama series. Before it was under limited series in the past. So
That's because now it's
uh
2 seasons and there's going to
yep,
be a third. So that makes
yep,
sense.
yep. So um yeah, it should be fun.
Absolutely. All right. Well, what's the date of the award show? Oh, they
It's
haven't
in
decided yet,
September.
have they? I think they said they're going to push it back possibly though because of the writer's strike.
Right. Oh, and shout out to Storm Reed. She got nominated for guest actress on The Last of Us. A lot of Last of Us.
Yes.
My boo
Yes.
Pedro got nominated for both that and his stint on Saturday Night Live, which was hilarious. And I'm happy that the Black Lady sketch show got nominated again, even
For
though
their last season.
they are no longer coming back.
I hope Pat Sajak wins for outstanding host for a game show since he's about to retire. Go ahead and give it up for Pat for Wheel of Fortune. All right. Well, speaking of the strike, that's really the last thing that I wanted to mention before we hop off of here is when we're recording, and I know by the time this is released, we'll know what has happened, but that SAG strike is looming with this midnight deadline, and they've called in federal mediation to try
Yes,
to help resolve this. I feel like there's still going to be a strike when this is released. So we'll see if I'm right.
I agree. I agree.
And we'll see how this all shakes out. Ooh, it's getting rough out there in Hollywood. I'll tell you what.
Yep.
All right, Delora, that's it. That's all. We're getting out of here. But before we do, what are we recapping for the people on Tuesday?
Oh my goodness, Ashley. We are recapping Netflix rom-com The Perfect Fine. And you know what makes this recap even special? Even more special? We have guests!
Yeah.
We have two of the trio, Dem Black Mamas, joining us for the discussion. It is a blast. I cannot wait for y'all to hear it on Tuesday. We go in depth, so be ready for that journey, but it is absolutely worth it.
Absolutely. Check out their podcast.
Yes.
Wherever you get your podcasts. And guys, as always, it's been a pleasure. We look forward to seeing you.
Again, thank you, Crystal and Nekisha, for your time and your thoughts. It was such a fun conversation.
Absolutely. Appreciate y'all, and likely we'll have you back soon. All right, guys, we got to get out of here. It's been a long one for us. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye.